Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. Basic human rights are those rights that are necessary, that are absolutely essential for your survival. They were designed for that purpose so we can be humbled together. I've been doing this for about 36 years. I started off, I was basically a wonderful man, and I'm still wonderful. But at the time, I was kind of good looking. And I only mention that to you now because I've been on so long, and the things that I talk about, people are so uninterested. That's why I only get a few views. That my relatives and their love for me are suggesting that I get off of YouTube and Facebook, not because of what I'm saying, but because how I've changed over the years from being a handsome, good-looking man that any woman would feel all comfortable about. Now I've gotten old and somewhat ugly. And this is true. I see myself in the mirror every day. But I have to keep coming back because I have a message for you that you have rejected. And I keep bringing it back to you because there's a love for you somewhere in nature that will not leave you out there by yourself. But there's a question that comes to my mind. Out of all the things that I've shared with you, there is something that's happening now in America that should draw focus directly on what I've been trying to say to you for so many years. And this has to do with our political situation. We have two candidates that are before us, Republican and Democrat, and there might be some others, but the way we got our system set up, we don't want to pay attention to those other candidates. We just want to focus on the two main candidates that keeps receiving information that divides them, where the powers that be, whoever's manipulating this thing, who's hiding behind the curtains, who operate in secret, can continue to do what they have been doing all of human existence. But I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded, we the people, based upon what we hear on the media, have concluded that Donald Trump, while he might be promising and exciting to many people who have had their hopes and dreams crushed, that he is a conniving, selfish man. That everything he's done in the past had to do with progress for himself, personally. Had nothing to do with anybody else beyond how he could use them, manipulate them to get what he wanted. Now, the people of America, for the most part, agrees with that. Even his political party agrees with it. And they don't want to have anything to do with it because it's kind of shameful to be connected to one who really says he speaks, and he does speak for millions of people, but that is because people are divided. And on the other side, we have Miss Clinton. And if you've done any research on Miss Clinton and the Clintons beyond what they put on the major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox will really get into it sometimes because this is one of their, what they want to reach out as a competition. And so they want to destroy that, but they really don't want to destroy it. It's just to keep the people divided. The question, the main issue that on my mind today is that since we have before us a Republican and a Democrat, where the greater percentage of the nation says they don't want to have anything to do with them, they don't trust them, so on and so forth. Here's my question. Many of you who are Republicans, many of you who are Democrats, also call yourselves Christians. Now, the Republicans say that they are not necessarily so righteous, but perhaps evil, but a little evil compared to the big evil of the Democrats. And the Democrats say that they are not perfect. They might have a little evil, but they're not half as evil as the Republicans. And here you are calling yourselves a Christian, calling yourselves children of God, calling yourselves blessed, the salt of the earth, love letters to the world. You are the light on a hill. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you're calling yourself this. Now, where in your teaching did it say that God or Jesus Christ would extend to you the right? And when I say right, I'm not talking about the choice, but I'm saying legitimacy. Make it okay for you to put your voice behind evil, any kind of evil, whether it's big evil or little evil. I don't think you'll find that anywhere. In fact, I think if you found Jesus Christ's story, it was to reject all evil. But for the past 36 years that I've been speaking to you about that, you have still been inserting your God power into this evil drive. I think about this, and I think about the millions of people who listen to Osteen, who swears that Osteen is the one. So, on this election day, I guarantee you over half of you will be voting for evil on the Democratic side or evil on the Republican side. Clarfo Dollar, think you got a big organization. I bet half of yours will either vote for Republicans evil or Democrats evil. Or there might be some other mega churches out there. Miss Jones, I can't think of her first name, Joyce Jones, Joyce somebody. She has a big audience. And not just to single these people out, I'm only mentioning them because their names, come to the forefront. But every mega church out there, T.D. Jakes, don't let me leave him out. He's a black one too. He's probably going to vote for Republican or Democrat. So he's going to extend some power, his God power, to evil. And he's going to justify it. And I say to you, every last one of you who go to those polls and vote for a Republican or a Democrat and call yourself a Christian, you are a hypocrite. You don't know the truth. You are blind as a bat. Now, I don't say this to offend you. I say this to give you the truth. And maybe you might just see what I'm talking about. God talks about heaven, about peace and prosperity and joy for everybody. Does Donald Trump talk about that? If he mentioned it, does he have any conception of what it would take to produce this? And how do you know? Same thing about the about the Democrats. They aren't saying anything that has not been said before, but they have never, ever delivered. And yet you as a Christian are sitting there putting your power behind them. And you expect those people who say that they are Christians who don't want to have anything to do with this political thing as being stupid. Well, that's okay if you think that they're stupid and you're wise. I tell you this, you might be wise and you might not be stupid, but you're surely not doing what God would choose you to do. You see, God has a different plan. God's plan is this. While the one behind the curtain says, I want the people to think that they can have everything by going this way that they could have if they were with God. So God has a plan that says, you the people can live on this earth as though you are in paradise. You the people on this earth can live as though you're in heaven. The only thing you have to do is treat others like you want to be treated. Recognize that all things come from God. All the things of the earth, on it, in it, above it, seen or unseen, comes from God. You, the people, come from God. And your abilities, all the different things that you desire to do and can do and want to do, came from God. And the positions that would allow you to do those different things that you want to do come from God. And in doing that, that is the process where all the goods and services except air and oxygen and water, maybe some others, come from. But as far as food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, all of these things are essential for survival. And the greatest of them all is the career that you can present yourself in and participate in the creation of these goods and services. That's God's wonderful plan. But that dude who says, we got to control you a different way, let me give you the dollar. You get the dollar and you can do everything you want to do. Now, who have the dollars? Less than 1%. They got the dollars. And they're all over the place. And they calling themselves God. And they're manipulating everything. Even you Christians who say that you are children of God. I say to you, I would not tell you this and talk to you about these things if there were not an option. The option for this is this. You can go to those polls, if you're a true Christian, and vote. But where they're talking about president, you could either write in God, no Republican, no Democrat, write in God, or write in your own name, meaning that you speaking for the representation of God. Now, there might be more people signing God and writing their own names in than Republicans or Democrats. You won't get the credit. But you would have made a statement to not only America, but you would have made a statement to yourselves that God is not pleased with this, and you have the numbers and the power to make a change in this society. You have the opportunity to do that right now, like no other time before in your lifetime. You have two people running for office to lead and represent you who no one trusts. Even you voting for them don't trust them. So what would you Christians do by voting for them? You are cursing God, you are cussing God, and you can guarantee that the wildfires that are burning all over California and other places will continue. It's not because of God, it's because of the spirit in the people. You can count on it. You can count on war and more hatred, all of this stuff coming, not because of God, but because of you, the people who are godless. Now, I stand here and tell you this because I know what's going to happen when you put in either of these candidates. God knows. But the only thing that God can do is sit back and watch, because you, the people, are making the choice. You, the people, are making the choice. And all of your great preachers that you put your trust in will be able to do nothing to help you. All they will continue to do is what they have been doing all the time. If they've been getting your support, whether it's money and other stuff, that's all they will continue to do. They're not going to change their conversation. It's going to stay the same, because if they change their conversation, they would lose their 501(c) and be cast out of preaching. They will have to be on the streets talking to you, hoping nobody else will bring this attention to the powers that be, because they will have to pay greater suffrage. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to take this time to say this to you. God is watching you. You better act like you got some God in you by waking up. And if you go to these polls and vote for Republican and Democrat, you can go fill your churches back up right after you get through. But don't you go anywhere telling anybody that you know anything about the God who loves every human being on the face of the earth. Don't you go anywhere and say anything about the God who would prepare that every human being that has come on this earth could live peaceful and prosperous and joyous. Don't you ever let any of advice come out of your mouth about things like this, because your God sits behind a curtain, a secret God, working plans to destroy you, and don't you forget it. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Say, better wake up. Bye-bye.